Good morning, but good evening to everybody in Europe, and good night time to anybody elsewhere in the world. Hello, happy Wednesday. This is a new time we're experimenting with. I have my cup of coffee. This is probably going to be a regular thing starting today, and the coffee is in a really cute Totoro Studio Ghibli mug. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, and it makes me very happy. This is just gonna be taking a lot more time to drink my coffee now because it is early for me. But I'm glad that I'm now able to make this time work because we've had a little bit of a lifestyle adjustment, and now we're waking up earlier and sleeping earlier, which I've always wondered, is this the adult thing to do? Because um, like I've always wanted to be a real adult, and now I feel like this is a real adult thing to do. I'm now like waking up at 8 a.m., which might not sound like a big deal to most people, but like 8 a.m. is a big deal to me. So hopefully this is sustainable. Hello to DT. um, and Gilliam, thank you for joining from Europe. And I'm really glad that Gilliam, I'm streaming on your remote days so that you can still make it. I'm just also grateful that you make it to my streams. Pretty much almost all of my streams. And DT, thank you for being able to make it too. I don't know if this is like during your work time or not, but hello to Sir Zex76, I think. I haven't seen you in the chat before. So, Sir Zex asks, oh, yeah, and hello to Alpazfly. Alpazfly. And hello, welcome. Yes, welcome to both of you. Thank you for joining. And the TLDR is that I am a software engineer and designer of data visualizations, and I'm starting a new project. I've kind of started a new project around looking into voter data for the US elections. And so I have some updates on that. And I also have been considering like a kind of like a new I don't know if format is the right word, but like since we like chat for like 20-30 minutes in the beginning anyways, I think maybe this was DT's suggestion. This was I can't remember whose suggestion it was, but I really like the suggestion of doing something like what Fun Function used to do, where we concentrate kind of the chat for, you know, like there's like actually just a chat section for 20-30 minutes in the beginning, and then we like get into the coding. And in the coding section, I've realized that I have a little bit of time, like a hard time being like, you know, at my like full coding productivity, because I'm like explaining every single thought process I have, which I think is good to explain everything, like all of my choices. But I think going into this project, because it's on such a time crunch, and I do want to stream as much of the project process as possible, so I was thinking maybe we can try like a little bit of a new style where, like, you know, I'm not explaining every single thing, and maybe like there will be like stretches of silence for like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or something. And maybe that means that like it's a fun chatting time in the chat, or like maybe if you have questions, like if you're wondering what I'm doing like in the code, maybe like you can ask others in the chat, because everybody is like super knowledgeable, and then if there is like, you know, questions that really persist, then I can answer them too. And I'll do my best, like every big decision I make, like I'll do my best to like explain why I did something that way. But I'm thinking that like I won't be narrating every single one of my thought process, just because then it just like makes the whole process a lot slower. But yeah, Gilliam says the adult thing would be choosing your schedule more than conforming to early days. Yeah, I actually quite like that. So I've always really struggled with like society's notion that like early risers are productive because I'm like most productive at night. And then I don't know, I've just like felt like I've been shamed for not being an early riser. But yeah, I think it's as long as I can, and I think this this is how I feel about everyone, but I just like personally have felt shamed by society. But like I feel like as long as you're being productive, it really is. And also like if you don't want to be productive, I think there's also like I also feel strongly about I don't know, tying my self-worth to my productivity, but and how like bad that is. And I'm trying to work on that. But yeah, in general, like, I've come to terms with the fact that whenever I'm productive is like whenever anybody's productive is fine, like nighttime, evening time, middle of the day. It's just I think something that's like hard to get rid of, like that's been so ingrained in me since childhood that like upstanding like citizens are morning people. Um, ooh, hello to Mash Fedorava. Hello, welcome to the chat. And yeah, very happy stream is earlier today. So the stream will be earlier. I'm gonna try out this 10:30. This is kind of like a trial period right now. I'm gonna try out this 10:30 a.m. PST time for the next few weeks. And that is because the project I have in mind, I'm like it's a little bit ambitious. I want to make like bite-sized charts, like 3 to 4 times a week. It was originally going to be like 20 charts, and I just don't think that that's going to be doable. But I'm going to try and do 3 or 4 per week, which means that there might potentially be days when I mean like every chart I'm gonna need like every data viz I need like more than an hour and a half, but some days it might just like maybe I can do a good amount in an hour and a half, but then maybe there's like overflow that I want to show you, and in that case I'm thinking that like being able to do another hour or so in my afternoon would be really great, and that's why I'm trying out this 10:30 a.m. time. And then I'm trying to do this project throughout October, and then after October we'll see like how sustainable the 10:30 a.m. Time is for me, and then maybe I'll be able to stick to it. So World Wake asks, oh yeah, thank you for answering, Gilliam. If I have previous experience from this kind of thing, and I'm guessing by previous experience you mean with like data visualization. Yeah, so I've been, yeah, so it seems like you mean previous experience with dataviz, not with streaming. Yeah, so I've been doing data visualization since 2012. Yeah, so it's been a while. Wow, 8 years. And yeah, I've been coding since around then. Picked up like data viz design maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, or like really picked up that skill 4 or 5 years ago. And and to your point, Warwick, about picking some other language than JavaScript, so I totally agree from a data processing, cleaning, and analysis perspective that other languages are easier. So like I know Python is built really well for data and like data analysis and data science, and I know R does it much better than JavaScript too. But my main thing is data visualization, and I do that for the web. So I guess I can just show my portfolio, but because I build visualizations for the web, everything I do, so this is one of the things, this is a visualization of a musical called Hamilton. And so because of that, everything I do is in JavaScript. So like the visualization end of it is already in JavaScript. And so it's, I realized like a few years back, I realized that it's just harder for me. Like it's more of a time sink for me to switch between different languages, like between JavaScript and Python, where like the context switching like gives me more syntax errors that I have to figure out than like whatever benefit from Python I get, I just like I lose it in the context switching. And maybe it's just that I like didn't go deep enough into Python for data analysis back then. And maybe it's something, actually R is something that I've been talking about wanting to pick up. So there is that. Yeah, so these are some of my projects. Oh, this is one of my most recently released. So this one's done in WebGL. Yeah, so for this particular project, actually, before I get into that, hello to Alexis Nostromo. Hello there. Hi. Thank you so much for joining from France. Very exciting. I think DT and you are both in France, and I'm so happy you can finally catch my stream too. And hello to Talistar. Thanks for joining again. And yes, thank you, Gilliam, for the subscription gifts. And because of that, we've been able to reach the next, like, I don't know if this is something that's common knowledge or not, but apparently Twitch for subscriptions. Yeah. Gilliam says, to be fair, her animations run better on any computer that's not Shirley's. Yeah, especially when I'm not running. Well, so it looks pretty decent when I'm not running OBS. And actually, I do care a lot about performance on my visualizations. So as long as your like computer's CPU is not being super like drained by something, most of my visualizations should be pretty, like animations should be pretty smooth. I pay a lot of like a lot of time and attention to the performance. But you know, sometimes when you're just like drawing so many pixels on like a web page, sometimes it's just like unavoidable if you're on a really old computer, which mine is a 2015. Even though it's like a MacBook Pro, and I think I have like 16 gigs RAM, I think, but it's like 2015. So especially when I'm running OBS, then it like starts kind of lagging. But yeah, on some older devices, I just can't. There's just a limit to what I can do to make complex visualizations like run smoothly on older devices that don't have as much processing power. Anyways, so with Twitch, it's that like depending on the number of subscriptions that I have as a channel, the more emotes, like custom emotes, I'm allowed to have. So I was just able to get the third emote, which I'm really excited about. So I want to like thank Gillian so much for like pushing that number over. And so I was wondering if any of you had like suggestions for a third emote. So my first one was like a celebratory one, and the second one was in honor of my poor burning laptop. Because sometimes I apparently run too many things. Not even that many things. I think it's just like Chrome and OBS, and then like it just like I think it really is just the OBS. But like a third emote, like I was thinking the third emote as like one of the scream one, the one that's like or like one of the crying ones. I don't know, just because we already have a celebratory one, so like maybe like we can like emote in the other direction. And then Sir Zex asks about courses for data visualization. And thank you, Gilliam, for answer. Oh, well, hello. Thank you so much. I'll pass fly for. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your handle, but thank you so much for subscribing. And yes, like Gilliam mentioned, actually, I just yesterday, my course on front-end masters just came out, so I'm really excited about that. My newest course is called Introduction to D3, and D3 is the JavaScript library for creating data visualizations on the web, and so it is I go into a lot of detail about D3, and actually I think let's see. Oh, actually, this one maybe doesn't have the one. I also did a little bonus work course on D3 with Vue, but I guess this one doesn't have it. But yeah, as you can see, I go into quite a bit of detail about how SVG. So this is a course on both SVG, which is a web technology for drawing shapes onto in the browser, and also D3. And so I go into a lot of detail about how SVG works and how you can draw different shapes, and like the most core parts of D3, and then we do like a series of small exercises that like lead to one big final data visualization, which I'm really proud of. So if you are interested in learning D3, I'd be really happy if you check out this course. Yeah, really proud of it. I spent quite a bit of time making the materials. I'm also really proud of the materials I made because they're really interactive and I think they're fun. These are, let's see, and then let's see, yeah, so these are the materials. Actually, so it's that you take this movies data set, and by the end you build it up to this these flowers, and then you have all these different takeaways. I'm like going into a lot of detail about this, but I guess the part that I wanted to show is, let's see, I'm very happy with this interaction, and then I explain this in the course, but I'm like very proud of this, like unreasonably proud of this. But yeah, so I also looked at like my time tracking for that workshop, and apparently I spent 42 hours, like 42 active hours, not even like the thinking part, making the materials, and like 20 hours actually setting up and like teaching the course. So yeah, put a lot of time into it. So let's see. Tell us. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Hi, Aussie Dabji. Thanks for joining the chat. I love that because the time is now, because we've like changed the time. I'm seeing so many new people in the chat, and I'm really also grateful for everybody that was able to, like, you know, from the old time that was able to make it to this new time. I hope I didn't lose too many people by changing. Ooh. I love the Gilliam, I love the thinking emotes. I like that a lot. I'm not talking to you, chat. I'm in the zone. I like that. Is it the one that's like this one? I really like that one too. I really like that thinking emote. I use it quite a bit. I like that. I think I might go with that unless there's like any serious objections with what the emote should be. And hello to Unified, thank you for making it to the new time. And hello to Alice. Thank you for making the new time too. Oh, Interesting. Certify asks, have you thought about non-video based instruction teaching at all? Interesting. Um, because visualization is so visual, usually I default to video based instruction. So that's a very interesting question. And I'm curious as to like the kind of the thought behind the question of like, is there other formats that like you are that like you want to see or but I guess it's not instruction, but I do have a series of so there's a project I have with my friend Nadi called Data Sketches, and it's 24 data visualization projects and 12 different topics that those projects are based off of. And for each of the projects, we did do a write-up of like how we got the data, like how we thought about the visuals, like how we designed it, how we sketched it, and like how we went about the code. So it's not, instruction, but it is kind of like a behind the scenes look, which I think people have told us is very helpful to kind of like get an idea of how we think about like constructing visualization. So I guess this is still a visual format. I don't think you can avoid the visual. Oh, sorry, no, you said non-video. Yeah, so this is a non-video format of just, I guess, write-ups of our work. Yeah. Shrinify says, we'll basically learn by doing approaches like what Code Academy or Data Quest do. A little bit of content, then write JavaScript, answer, checking feedback, iterate. Oh, I see what you mean. I've seen those. I don't think can't be a dry text-heavy textbook for sure. Yeah, I think there's room for that. I think I've seen things where it's more like it looks more like a almost like a interactive textbook on the screen, and then you like go through kind of chapters and lessons, right? I think I've seen that. I think it's a really interesting approach. I don't have any like reason as to yes or no why I haven't done those kinds of instructions. The only thing is that like that's not my full-time job. Like my full-time job is as a like independent like I work with clients on creating visualizations. So like anytime I do kind of like education teaching sort of things, it's like I literally like don't get paid for the times that I'm making material. And then I only get paid for the hours that I'm teaching, and then thankfully with front end masters there's like royalties, so then like I'm like able to recoup some of the material making time with royalties. This time around I was lucky because I was I partnered with Observable, and so like because of that I was able to kind of like offset the time for making materials with the partnership in terms of like financially, but it's actually like a very like not cost effective, or rather that like it's not like I literally just don't get paid for like the month or two that I usually put into making a course. So that's the only reason why I haven't like explored like other ways of instruction. And I think the main reason why I've avoided that kind of structure is just because it just takes even more time, and then and then there's like no clear evidence that I'm going to like recoup that amount of time where I like just didn't get paid, if that makes sense. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Certify says that a lot of academic research indicates that video is a full form way of learning. Um, and I didn't know that. I actually quite like video because, and maybe this is because, again, I'm learning more visual things. So, like over the summer, I picked up some new hobbies, and those hobbies were like more craft sort of things. And so I really like watching YouTube videos because like then I can see exactly how someone is making something. But maybe like video is really maybe it's like video is harder for more like like concepts maybe. I wonder if that's what it is. Ooh, interesting question. Gilliam asks if you qualify the stream here as being video based or screen share based, like a pair programming in a way. Serenify says still video based but different. Can at least ask questions too. It's more like a university lecture. Huh. Oh, interesting. Serenify says I should clarify videos tend to work fine for intermediate advanced people because those folks can kind of figure things out. Um, yeah. Okay, so let's get into the project today. Some updates to the project. So I, after we finished on Friday, I went and wrote this pitch that kind of like summarizes the project, and I had a lot of help from Alice in terms of editing it, and so it kind of like talks about the goal and the motivation behind the project, mainly because I'm, as an American citizen, extremely concerned for this election, and you know, all of the like voter suppression that's happening and all of the concerns about like mail-in ballots, and so I wanted to make like somewhere between 12 to 16 bite-sized charts. I bought this domain called Make My Vote Count That Party that I'm kind of like really excited about, and then hopefully the premise is that hopefully those bite-sized charts that like kind of present information, and the information are grouped into these like 4 major questions, that they'll lead to kind of bite-sized actions, like easy to take actions, mainly around just like making sure that that like there's no snafu in your voting, because this is, again, as an ordinary citizen, I didn't know all of the ways that your vote could be rejected, and actually we'll talk about that a little bit, because I've been doing a lot of like data preparation also. Anyways, this pitch is to just show I then like kind of sent it to a few different organizations, and a few of them have agreed to sponsor, which I feel really grateful for, because that means then in October, as an independent creator, I'm able to work on this pretty much full time and dedicate all of my time to it. And not only that, but I can also, I'm really excited because it means that I can also hire some people to help me with the data, like gathering the data. I have a wish list of data, and actually I can show the wish list of data. And so actually all of this like project pitching and the financial side, I want to like ask, like I want to thank like Alice and Amy and like my friends and like basically my studio mates who were like super supportive and like helped me through kind of just like brainstorming how to go about this. But yeah, I have like a data wish list of like I want voter registration numbers for 2020 and you know, general polling location, etc. And so I'm trying to finalize the sponsor partners this week, and it means that I'm hopefully going to be able to well, no, I'm pretty much determined to like hire people that can help me with just like one or two people that can help me with the data like gathering and cleaning and prepping, so I can be like really heads down on the coding side of things, or like coding the visualization, and then also um, uh, just as important, someone that is like an expert on this topic so that I can potentially like brainstorm with them and make sure that I'm not like going about the data the wrong way, or like that I'm not visualizing it in a misleading way, or that I'm putting the wrong information out there about this, because if like expert is like 100, I'm like 5. So my like expertise is in data, and visualizing data. So I want to make sure that um, consult with someone that really knows this topic. And I'm going to try and put together kind of like um, what is that, like a job listing? I don't know. But kind of just detailing like what I'm looking for, and it'll probably just be a Google form. But if you're interested in either of those, um, uh, then please look out for that on my Twitter. My Twitter is the same handle as my Twitch, and then hopefully in the next few days I'll be able to like put out a call for someone to help with data and also an expert consultant. So I'm really excited. Logistics side is, I think almost there. I am very, very, very grateful for that, so that I just concentrate on like creating. um, but Yeah. Oh, thank you, Alice. Yes, very important. As we all saw last night, debates. I did not watch the debate. One, because I was working on this project, but also because it honestly sounded like a shit show. I've been reading the recaps, um, and I, yes, agree. um, but Surinamfi says, I'm working on a blog post series on building a Slack community dashboard. Interesting. Showing people via video will only take me 1 hour, but writing the blog posts have been taking 10 plus hours. Yeah, so writing blog posts for me is like really hard, because it just takes me sometimes a blog post with a lot of like a really big one have taken me like 6 months before, just because trying to figure out what is the most important things to include, like, and being like concise about it, but then making sure nothing is confusing, etc. But so Alice, I think once I can get like 100% confirmation from the sponsors, I'll share them. The partner that I do have confirmed is Observable, and so Observable is what I've been using for like all of the data analysis and collection so far, and so they've also signed on to kind of sponsor me in this project. So I'm really grateful for that. And then I have a few others that I'm hopeful for kind of just confirming this week. Ryan says it was hilarious, but also terrifying. Yeah, I'm going to try and keep this stream like, I know because this is a political topic that we're going to be talking about politics, but I just want to kind of say like, let's try and keep the conversation like productive and not going anywhere in the like name calling or anything like that. And also we're mostly focusing on kind of like voter access and voter suppression. So always here for having good discussions about including with politics, but let's just make sure that it is productive. I like the shaking hands, Ryan. Yeah. Okay, so that is the logistics update. And on the data side, I I think on Friday struggled a little bit in terms of getting there is in this amazing data set that I found out through Ian and EJ. Ian and EJ are also two dataviz creators that have this stream, I think on Mondays, and I think it's like Monday, Saturday, Sunday maybe. Yeah, Monday and Sunday they have a stream where they've also been kind of looking at like creating a lot of their work is math based, which is very interesting, but they've been looking a lot on around the election and also on like the California fires. So definitely check them out, especially if you're interested in cartography. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much, Ian. Ian is hosting my stream right now, so I literally am seeing myself. But yeah, so I found this data set. It's the Election Administration and Voting Survey through Ian and EJ, which has honestly been a really amazing data set. So they have the 2018. So I went and I gathered and I cleaned the 2018, 2016, and 2014 data sets. It's very interesting because it's like a huge data set and the keys are separate. So like they have so I spent like a whole kind of evening just like going through. They had like 400 columns, 400 something. Yeah, so I printed it out. It is on 7 pages. No, 9 pages. So it's like, so the data set is every US county, and then the rows are like the US counties, and the columns are like these 400 plus questions that are like, you know, about voter registration, about like participation, and like the different ways that people voted. So it's a really incredibly rich data set. But I spent a whole evening where I like printed it out and like I like highlighted the ones that I feel are relevant to this project. I also, because some of these like labels made absolutely no sense to me. So I also cross-referenced it with like, so I cross-referenced it with 2016 and 2014 because, fun thing, the keys, like the keys change between 2016 and 2018. And so sometimes a question that was available in 2016 or a column that was available in 2016 was not available in 2018. Also, fun thing, 2018 keys were available in an Excel spreadsheet, and 2016 and 2014 was in a PDF. So literally spent an evening. This is like the unseen work of data visualization, and actually most data reporting, where you just like sift through PDFs. And literally sat through and read like what each of these questions were supposed to be. And yeah, so that was Monday night, I think. Fun times. I also haven't had the chance to fully confirm that 2014 100% matches with 2016 in terms of keys. But yeah, interesting to see like how I'm guessing like my best theory is that these like 2014 and 2016 are basically the same, and then there was a difference between 2016 and 2018 because of administration change. Very interesting. And so this is actually the pared down, instead of 400 something columns, I then pared it down to 96 columns that I'm most interested in. And then that was also this notebook where I loaded in the data from those 3 years. And then I processed it so that I like filtered it down to just the 90 something columns. And then I grouped all the years by their county and keys. So then now we can see like this, I'll Cuyahoga County in Alabama. We can now see like total registered voters went from, well, actually they pretty much stayed quite similar across the 3 elections, but now we can see like kind of change over across years. And so this was, I think on Friday, I was quite dissatisfied with the direction that I was taking my like data analysis, like data cleaning in, and analysis in. So I like took a step back and like did a completely different attempt. And now I'm much happier with the direction we're going. And then also I printed out kind of all of the 97 relevant keys. And then I've started kind of like brainstorming, like potential stories from that. So I've like kind of brainstormed 10 right now that might like turn into like potential visualizations. And today what I want to do, let me show you, even just like having this data set is so amazing. Let me show you something, just like one tiny small thing I found yesterday, just like doing a cursory look at the data set. So one of the things I've been learning is about voter purges. And so that's the practice where a state or county will, used correctly, it's a good thing because it means that a state and a county are removing voters from their registrar because voters have, since the previous election, moved or passed away, or any number of reasons. So actually, this is kind of the part where they could have like moved or passed away or charged with felony, failed to respond, declare mentally incompetent, or by voter request. But this one is actually the really interesting one. And the definition of fail to respond, and actually this was a suggestion from chat last week of paying special attention to, thank you. Hello again, Nerdy Curious. Thank you so much for joining us today too, and thank you so much for hosting. But the fail to respond was a suggestion from chat last week to kind of pay attention to that number because it's defined as fail to respond to notice. So there's also this column that's notifications. And these are notifications that the jurisdiction has sent to their voters to, let me see, sent to voters because they no longer reside in the jurisdiction or because they didn't vote in the last election. So it's kind of like a gentle nudge of like, hey, are you gonna vote in, like, we're just not sure about your status, like, are you gonna vote in this upcoming election? And so this particular fail to respond part is any voters that are removed because they didn't respond to the notice or because they didn't vote in the last 2 elections. And to me, the extremely interesting thing is this fail to respond number compared to the total number voters removed versus the total number of notifications sent. So if you look at just even this Alabama county, they removed almost in 2014, between the 2012 election and 2014 election, they removed maybe around 40% of, I'm guessing about 40% of the voters that they removed was because of failed to respond. And if you compare that number, this almost 4,000, they sent 5,000 notifications. So that's a really high percentage of unfortunately, it seems like they didn't, so they don't have these numbers available. These are if the notification was received or if they weren't unable to be delivered or etc. But I think that like this number versus this number is so high. And so, and the context for this is Alabama is one of the states that were, again, this is something I've been learning very recently. So, just a disclaimer that like I'm zero expert at this. And Alabama is one of the states that under the Voting Rights Act was a pre-clearance state, which means that like they had to kind of every time they wanted to change anything about their voting practice, they had to kind of get clearance from like a federal oversight committee. I'm sorry, I don't know 100% the details, but then in 2013, that was that kind of pre-clearance state that, oh, sorry, and they were one of those because they, before the Voting Rights Act, had historically kind of like racist practices in terms of voting. And so, but then in 2013, that kind of requirement got overturned. And so after that, there's been a lot of reports about, different things that those states have done to try and suppress the vote. And so the reason why this is so interesting is because now, like this seems like such a high number compared to the total voters removed. And then, I mean, this is one of the things I would want to like ask an expert about of like, is this an anomaly or like, is this like, am I just reading too much into this? But I then got really curious about like, let's say, let's look at like a county in another state. So then this is the one thing that's like, be patient with me as I'm gonna try and look for San Francisco County. Yeah, so then I didn't look up this one yesterday, but if you look at, for example, in San Francisco instead, there have been around 40,000 voters removed, 20,000 because they moved, because San Francisco is such like a migratory like city, and only 74 because they failed to respond. And they sent like 60,000 notifications, and then they actually have like returned in deliverable, etc. But only 74 were removed because of failed to respond. So even just like, this is just something I noticed like last night, just taking a cursory glance. But I think even that is like an interesting data story. So today, wow, I talked a lot about this. So today, I want to really dive into that, and I want to like kind of brainstorm some like visualizations that we can make to kind of surface and see if this theory that I have, this hypothesis I have, is actually true across the nation. Yeah. Oh, so fractal cane dream. I think I have not seen you in the chat before, so welcome. It asks, is printing out the data something you do often? I also work better on paper and I'm interested in that approach. So I never print out the whole data set because oftentimes the whole data set would be like huge. But what I do is when I start with the data set, oftentimes I'll look at the columns, I'll look at the keys, and I'll be like, oh, this column could be potentially interesting. Like I'll look at the column names and I'll be like, this column could be potentially interesting, or like this metadata is potentially interesting. And usually I just like, jot it down on a piece of paper or on my iPad, or sometimes I'll like just like put it in an observable notebook if I'm working in an observable notebook. But in this particular data set, it just was like, it was 470 columns. it was just so overwhelming that like I couldn't just like write down every single column I thought was interesting, and that's why I printed it out. I don't usually print out anything with data sets unless it's like so big like this one, like where the list of metadata is so big like this one. And I do have a tendency, this is like a offhand comment, but like I do have a tendency to print out my like any piece of code, like someone else's code that I really want to understand, instead of just like perusing it, I'll actually print out their code and I'll like take notes on their code, and just because I find, especially like when, you know, because you like refer to functions across like, you know, different parts of the code base, I find it really helpful when I just like print it out and I can like spread it out in front of me and be like, oh, this function refers to this function back there. Or so I find printing out code really useful, but I don't often do that with data. And I agree. Levinson says data is beautiful. Yeah, Ryan says, oof, the data for D9. D9 is poll workers recruiting difficulty. So that one has also been kind of interesting to look at. That one needs some cleaning because in 2018, they actually provide like a string that says like somewhat difficult, very difficult. Actually, I think that one was really interesting too. I like took a brief look where D9 was, where is D9? I was like, oh, these are interesting too. Like how the like mail-in ballots, like why the mail-in ballots were rejected. Another thing I want to ask an expert is like these provisional ballots. My understanding of provisional ballots is like those people that tried to vote, but there was like something wrong with their registration. So then they're like kind of like a maybe ballot. And then some of them are because they're just not registered, or they didn't have an ID, or it's incomplete. And I really want to know, or they were rejected for these reasons. And I want to know if like that, I think I noted it down, and I was like, is this is this related to the number of people that, yeah, so I was wondering if this is the number of people that tried to vote but couldn't. So is this potentially people that like, because there's reports of certain states where they purged voters based on inaccurate data. So like they were purged saying that, you know, they had felony convictions when they didn't, and they went to the polling place and found out that they weren't registered and they couldn't vote. So I'm like I want to know if that's what these numbers reflect. So oh, got distracted. Yeah, so D9 is a very interesting one, somewhat difficult in 2018. And then 2016 is just like this number, because this number maps to a key that's like very difficult or somewhat difficult. 2014, very difficult. Not sure yet how to go about that one. Definitely very interesting, but not sure how to use it yet. Okay, so, oh, thank you, Fractal Kindred. Yeah, I agree, William. That fail to respond counts seem to be very high. It seems to be very high in certain counties, in certain states. And Gilliam says 30 already voted out of 11K. Wait, where should you see that? Yes, this is why I would like to hire someone to. Ryan says one of the years was an empty string and the other was undefinable. This is why I oh, interesting. Okay, I get distracted by the data because I'm like, ooh, this is fascinating. So I'm gonna turn away from that right now. E2J. Ooh, okay, so one of the years was, yeah, so this is why I want to hire someone to help me with the data cleaning, because it just, like, even after getting it to this point where I got, like, you know, and each of these, like, years is, like, it's not, you know, big in the sense of big data, but, like, just processing it and getting it into this form was, like, an unexpected amount of time. And even after, getting them combined, there's like so many things that need to be cleaned, like mostly because the answer formats are different across the years. So yeah, definitely still a lot of work in data processing. William said, E2J. What is E2J? Provisional ballots rejected, already voted. Oh, no. So that one means that so first of all, the 30 number is 2014, and this one means that the ballot was rejected because they already voted somewhere else. Which again, like I don't know if that means they like voted in another polling location. I don't know. There's actually a lot of so if you take a look at this is basically the instruction on how to fill out so this is kind of the survey, and it's basically like, so I guess we can think of it as like one half of the methodology of like, this is the explanation behind the numbers, and then each state also, so now let's see. So this is like something I just don't have time for, but then like each state also has this where they like explain exactly how they got, I think it's, how they got each of the numbers or something like that. Yeah, count ballots according to the following rules. So I feel like this is like such a deep rabbit hole that like I wish I realized and knew about before, because like I definitely don't have time to go through like, this is just one PDF for Arkansas. So I definitely do not have the time to like go through each of these documents for like all 50 states, but like it's something that I just wish I had time to go through, because this is essentially the other half of the methodology, right? Of like how these, or the methodology behind this data set, because even looking at the numbers right now, you have to take them with a grain of salt. Like if I try to compare county against another county, like there has to be a grain of salt that each county probably reported, like even if it's the same column, they probably counted the numbers a little bit differently, or and so it's not like a perfect apple to apple comparison between counties. It's like maybe it's like a green apple versus like a red apple. I don't know, but I think it's like extremely important to read these methodologies. I just don't have time to to like see if there's any discrepancy between like how one county counts versus another county. But yeah, this is, how did I get onto this tangent? Oh, sorry, because we were talking about E2J and it's already voted, and so I feel like if we just do E2J, look at this, E2J, a voter already voted. So does it say total number of provisional ballots rejected? Okay, it doesn't have much more of an explanation other than voter already voted. What does that mean? Don't know. Yeah, although this is provisional ballots, so I'm guessing provisional ballots are like they went to a physical polling place and they like tried to vote and they were like nah, and they like got rejected because they already voted. So like maybe they already mail in voted. Ryan says the way they provide the data is so cryptic, it takes a professional to understand it. And I'm not a professional with this kind of data, so that's why I want like a professional to like verify if my hunches are correct or not. Gilliam says these PDFs are where you would know if the notification was not responded in time because states don't have the same time frames. Not 100% sure what you mean, Gilliam. If you don't mind, like expanding on that a bit. Okay, so wow, we've spent quite a while kind of just like going through this. I got really excited about this data set. So what I want to do is look at this failed to respond number, and I want to just like compare it to the total removed. So our first one will be just very simple. And actually, let me pull up my iPad so that I can kind of brainstorm if I want this to be what I want this to be, like how do I want to look into it? Okay, so let me pull up my iPad. Yeah. And then today is the 30th. Oh my god, tomorrow is October. Okay. Ooh. So Gilliam says, visualize the failed to respond in time stats, highlight the states where there is the most difference. Yeah. Okay. So, first thing I want to do is failed to respond versus total removed. And so let's make that into a percent. And let's make that, and then let's just use Vega Light to make that into a bar chart. And then let's make two versions, one by county and one by state. Okay, let's start with that. Let's see. Okay, so I think I started another notebook for the analysis. Like I'm trying to keep my notebooks clean. Oh, okay, so here are my notebooks. Let's get my notebooks. Okay, so I did. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's put you in the elections. Okay. So let us do this. So I'm gonna import. Ooh, hello, Christian Mears. Thanks for joining today. And okay, I'm gonna import the all years data from this. And then let's look at the all years data. Oops. Oh, hello! So it's crazy for Pi. Crazy for Pi 314. Thank you so much for rating. Hello. Ooh. Hi. So exciting. Crazy for Pi, what do you stream? I'd love to know. Oh no, the notebook is not responding. Okay. Let's see, what did I do? Oh, is that why? Because there's Q1 data. Okay, let's remove you for now. And so the very first thing, the very first story is the failed to, wait, okay, so this is with the Eve's data. They're going to be failed to respond. Okay. And so, actually, I think what I can do is make the data be. Oh my god, that's so cool! Crazy for Pi works on quantum computing with Q sharp. Also some general programming stuff. Can you tell us more about quantum computing? Because I feel like I've heard that term before and I have no idea what it means. And it sounds, I just find anything with quantum sounds very intimidating to me. So I would love to know what you do specifically. It's so exciting. Ooh, and games on Fridays. What kind of games do you play? I joked around with my husband because I don't really play games other than Animal Crossing. I joked around with my husband because he's like really good with Tetris. He says he's not good, but like he's like comparing himself to like pro player, like pro game level. But like we think he's good. Um, and I was like joking with him, and I was like, "Oh, why don't you stream Tetris on my stream?" Or he plays like Tetris 99 and Puyo. He's like constantly in like the top five for Tetris 99, and all the other handles are all Japanese names. So we were joking around. I was joking around with him, and he was like, "Oh, you should stream your Tetris 99 on my stream." Then he like doesn't want to show his face. So I was like, "How about like we just show you like neck and below?" Silly jokes. Okay. Okay, so the what I want is A9E. I'm gonna go and what I want to do is array of objects. Each object is a county and with one number of that is A9 divided by A9A. Okay, yeah. Okay, I have a plan now. And Crazy for Pi says, yeah, it's basically a new kind of hardware accelerator, like a GPU or an FPGA that can help us speed up certain types of problems. We now have programming languages specifically for these devices like Q Sharp, and I like building open source tools for folks to learn and explore. That is so cool. And William says, I thought it was reserved for use on online services at the moment, but can you actually get one of those devices at home? Yeah, I would love to know like what kind of use cases people usually use for this, because I feel like with data, like especially huge data sets, that'd be extremely useful. And also, I can imagine like Well, I guess on the visualization side, because the processing is still dependent on the end user, like the end user's computer. So like on the visualization side, I guess we can't utilize that because the web page needs to be served up on the end user side. So then the client side. So then the client needs to have that hardware accelerator, which we can't assume. So I guess it'd be really, really good for potentially like really large, like big, huge data set processing is how is what I can imagine as like a dataviz person. And also, Chris, I also agree. I really appreciate the soothing music. Also, the soothing music is by a lovely, lovely land band in Japan called Lolotone. They have a lot of really beautiful soothing music, so highly recommend checking them out. Um, oh, Fractal says that it's keeping the stream is soothing me. I'm so glad. I'm keeping you company while I explore my own data sets this afternoon. I would be curious to hear what data sets you are working on. And Crazy for Pie says the spooky update for Animal Crossing has been looking forward to getting a. Oh my god, okay, so I have not played Animal Crossing for like a few weeks and I'm really sad. This is purely because of like my work and I just like haven't had the chance to like put any like the amount of time I want into it. And I just like I'm really looking forward to getting back on my Animal Crossing island. Yeah, I really want to. There's like room, like interior design plans that I want to apply. Okay, so Ryan has a great question about the fact that I'm using Lodash for map and filter and whether there is a performance benefit or any other benefit for using that over native. And the answer is I don't know about I'm guessing that. Well, actually, I haven't looked into any performance benefits, so let me not speak to that. But the reason why I tend to prefer Lodash is because it lets me chain. So then a lot of times for like data cleaning and processing, I have to do like multiple things in a row to the data set. And the chaining part makes it really easy, so I don't have to like constantly like store it into another variable, which even though it's probably what's happening underneath the hood, but like from a like coding, thinking about the code perspective, it makes it easier for me. So I guess that's an ergonomic reason. And I haven't like found a big enough like performance hit for me to like use native JavaScript functions over what Lodash gives me. And Lodash also gives me a lot of really nice utility functions that that like native JavaScript doesn't. And that's the primary reason. But great question. Thank you so much. And sometimes even when it's just like a simple map function or something, I'm just so used to writing it the Lodash way that I like just do it this way. Yeah. Crazy for Pie says, in terms of quantum computing, that it is not a kind of device you can have at home and requires data center type resources to support. And now I'm very curious as to what you do to like what do you do that you do have access to these kinds of devices? I'd love to know. Broken Mirror says I/O for a quantum computer is still a challenge, so looking more at big compute style problems than big data style at the moment. Ooh, very interesting. I also don't quite know what big compute, like what kind of use cases are big compute. I would love to know, like, if you can expand on that. Oh, Gilliam, thank you so much for answering my answering for me about the chaining. Okay. I don't even remember that I answered these questions in previous streams. So Gilliam, thank you for thank you for like answering and remembering on my behalf. Like I feel like I don't know what's happening, but I feel like my memory is like such a goldfish memory these days. Anyways, all right, let's get back to the code. I'm gonna do this for a little bit, and hopefully, the keyboard typing will be like a good background co-working, like a chill co-working sort of thing for, um, yeah, like chill co-working background noise. All right, let's go through. Oh. Okay, so what I just did was I went and calculated the ratio for um, the fail to respond divided by total removed for each of the years. Already interesting that for whatever these counties are, I think these are Alabama counties, 2016 is not available for all of them, for a lot of them. But I just realized that I also would like to know what counties these are. So, um, let's go and remember that also. So I think the names for them are, let's go and remember the FIPS code, and then for now, let's go and get the state abbreviation. Actually, you know what? Let's also get the jurisdiction name. So let's do that. And in that case, I'm gonna do Ooh. Ooh, I think I can do it this way. So let's call it this, and let's go and remember the fix code, and let's call it county, and then let's go and do jurisdiction name and state abbreviation. And then if I pass in this county to this reduce operation, then I should be able to get perfect. Awesome. All right. Wait, okay, so catching up on the chat right now. I just saw Gilliam say, oh, might be a divide by 0 too. Yes. Good point on 2016. Although I think that also is potentially well. So with the way that the survey is structured, they always make it so that like the survey always asks that the subsets. So like so for example A9. So they always are like, these subsets must, oh, this is not the right one. Yeah, so these subsets must equal to this total number. So if it is that the denominator is a 0, then if the survey was filled out correctly by the jurisdiction, then the numerator should be 0 too. Is it? I actually have never tried to do that. 0 divided by 0. Oh my god, you're right. It is a NaN. That is wild. Broken Mirror says, JavaScript is nuts. I agree. Says, Broken Mirror says, quantum chemistry and material science problems are an example of big compute style problems. The input data isn't too big, and you're often looking for very small outputs, but the computation between the two can be immense. Ooh, material science, quantum chemistry and material science. Whoa, okay. Would you be able to like expand on like maybe like an example from daily life that like me as someone that knows nothing about quantum chemistry and material science, like maybe like is there like a use case or an example that I might know just from like a daily life of how that can be applied? Oh, crazy for Pi. Are you? Gilliam asks, "Are you actually going on stream again in a few minutes?" If you are, I hope you have a great stream, and thank you so much for joining this one, rating this one. Actually, if you still are, I would love to raid yours after. Helium says, Broken Mirror, kind of like what would be needed to increase the pace for classic 2000 era projects like the now defunct SETI at Home or the still running Folding at Home project, I guess. JavaScript is nuts. I agree. And actually, this is enough thing for now. Ooh, and then in Arizona 2016. Whoa, look at that. That's so high. Okay, so let's go and you know what? Let's look at it from let's look at it from a county or by a state perspective. So aggregate to state. And I'm going to just take the median. Average? Try both. Median or average? We need an average for that. Median, average. Let's, So actually, did my music stop? Oh no, okay. I was like, did we go so long that my music stopped? It's like, I swear I had it on album repeat. Okay, I'm glad it didn't stop. Alright. I could find a state. So I went and grouped the counties by state. So I think I want to look at these ratios by state first. What? That's such high numbers. Right. Okay. That is such high numbers. Whoa. What? Wyoming. Ooh, okay. Let's not get distracted. So now get the average for each year. Let's see. So what I want to do is use another reduce thing. You know what? I'm just gonna also have an array of all years. Years is equal to 2014, 2016, 2018, just because I'm using it so much. So years, so that I don't have to like keep typing it over and over again. Okay, the object and the year, and let's start off that object with the state. Actually, I guess I could just go in here, do this. Okay. So get average for each year. Okay, so how do I go about doing this? So I feel like in Lodash there is, maybe I'll use D3. So in D3 array, I think in D3 array, or is it in D3 array, there is a thing where, yes, there's a statistics part where I can do d3.mean, yes, and I can pass in the iterable and the accessor. So I think I should be able to do that. So that means I want to object here equals d3.mean, pass in the counties, the array of counties, yeah, because I have this array of counties. Return the object. Okay, by state. Oh, I forgot to load in D3. Haha. Wait, did I? Oh, I didn't even load in Lodash. How's the Lodash been working? Interesting. Okay. Let's get Lodash. Let's also. Wait, did I load in Lodash somewhere? What? Where did I load it in Lodash? What is going on? Alright, well, I get. Oh, from. That's what's happening. What? I'm just like having trouble. But also, oh. That's just because I was being silly and mixing up. Just mixing these up. Okay. Now there's 52. Ooh, and they are all named. So I did something wrong. Okay. Let's see what I did wrong. d3.me counties. Why? Alright. Do this. Let me put a debugger statement here. What? Okay, so counties. Alabama has these counties. Does D3 mean, why aren't you working? Why aren't you working? The year is 2014. Thank you, Ryan. I should look at the chat more often. Thank you for the. Thank you. Oh, that was silly. Hello, Isna. Thank you so much for joining. It's been a while, actually. I've been. I think I saw that Mayuko was streaming earlier, so I was going to raid hers, but I don't know if she's streaming still. I was gonna raid her stream after this because it's been a bit. And I saw that she's doing the code with friends, which I'm not sure if it's too late for me to sign up, but I thought that was a really cool idea. And oh yes, and my day is actually, I think I'm like enjoying this like morning stream, where I feel like it's like boosting my productivity. I don't know, I like it. So I might keep to this. But also this is just the first day, so who knows. And this stream in the morning is supposed to go somewhere between like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I'm realizing that I should probably put a like bathroom break somewhere in the middle, because like an hour and a half to 2 hours straight is like pretty long. I don't know, I haven't like, I need some more water. Today is my first time trying out a morning stream. And Crazy for Pie says, I just finished my stream for the day, but I do quantum office hours on Tuesdays and open source projects on Wednesdays. So cool. You can check out, if you're curious, check out past vlogs or have a book with Broken Mirror 42 to teach quantum computing with Python and Q Sharp. So cool. Actually, I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. I'm gonna check out the Twitch. Crazy for Pie 314. Super cool. Ooh, I like your avatar. Oh, hello. Thank you so much. I don't know why I just said hello, right? You've been in the like chat this whole time. But thank you so much for subscribing. Oh my god, this looks so cool. Oh, this is awesome. Thank you for sharing, Crazy for Pie. Also, thank you again, Ryan, to catching my extremely silly, super silly bug. And yeah, this is the chain stuff. Oh, hello, Ets. And did I inadvertently answer chat? Oh my God, yeah, Ryan, I agree. There's like so many different import syntaxes, and I just get confused, and I don't know what the difference between them or when to use them. Um, like there are so many things about web dev where I don't know the reason behind them. I just use them, and then I just get confused. And hello to Bit Monkey. Um, I'm just catching up on the chat again, and I like the amount of times that you tried to get my attention, Ryan. um, oh yeah. So Ryan, I think Lodash also has a mean. Yeah. It does. That's why it didn't throw an exception, and that's why I was like not noticing. Yeah. Let's go with that excuse. That's why I wasn't noticing. It also has a dot mean in the math section, and that's why it wasn't throwing an exception. Um, ah, Isma says she's offline now. Yeah. Ooh, I hope your day is going great. I'm guessing that means that you were moderating in her stream. Oh yeah, I think I want to join in on that once in a while because this is the project I'm currently working on is my October project. So I thought this would be a fun project to be a part of the Code with Friends project. And Alex's Stronum says it's not a reserved keyword in JavaScript either. Yeah, that's exactly it. Oh, hello to T Constantine 94. Yeah. Oh, you're not sure? Go to the API documentation. My favorite. So this is a tiny story time. Actually, also yes. Izuna. Actually, I am also going to be working on like a project website sometime soon. But yes, I would love it if you post a link to the CWF site. I just don't know what link to give you just yet. But I think in a week or two I'll have a link for the whole project. But actually, short story time. I had a CS professor back in college. And he was a very notorious CS professor, and he taught, what was it? He taught the data structures class. So he was the second, that course is the second lower div requirement for the computer science major or minor. And he taught the data structures class the year that I was taking it, and his name was Hilfinger. There was so many jokes about his last name, or his last name was Hilfinger. I can't remember his first name anymore. And he was so notorious in the computer science department. And on the first day, he comes into the lecture hall, and he's like, and his introduction. I think maybe he said some things before, but I don't remember them. The only thing I remember from his introduction is deadpan, and he's like, in his 60s or 70s or something. He's quite old and distinguished. Deadpan, he's like, you may have heard that I am the Professor Snape of the computer science department, and you'd be right. He was hard, but I loved his class. I felt like I learned so much from his class. Anyways, the story time is because T Constantine said, "You're not sure, go to the API documentation." And one of his catchphrases was always RTFM. RTFM, read the fucking documentation. And that was my second CS class. Second or third? Third CS class. Yeah, what a character. Still one of my favorite professors, not from a like endearing perspective, but just like what a character. Um, oh, yes. I think this might be fun for anybody that's interested in my chat too. Code with friends, and month-long coding event where folks from all around the world work on their personal coding projects together. Not a competition, not a hackathon. Place where anyone with any level of coding experience can come to learn new things, have fun building something, be proud of the work they've accomplished. T Constantine asks why I don't use VS Code as my IDE. Honestly, I'm just not cool enough. JK, more because I feel like there's a lot of setup, and I've just been. I feel like one of those people that like I'll just keep using something unless there's like a great forcing factor in like me changing, and there hasn't been, and that's why. And RTFM. It was thank you, Gillian, for answering. Yeah, I should get used to all of you answering in the chat. It's just a habit of mine. But no, sometimes, I think oftentimes, you guys answer so much better than I do in the chat. Hey there, Han. Hello. Hi, just slid in at the right time, lol. Hello. Oh my gosh, hi, Anna. Thanks for joining today too. Yeah, RTFM, not RTFD. Although that works too, I guess. But he used to say RTFM. Read the fucking manual. Yeah, that was it was really good advice. What a character. One of my favorite professors. Yeah, I'm not gonna recount the story. Okay. All right, got distracted. Hopefully this works now that I have D3 loaded where it should be instead of Lodash. Okay, so let's go and rerun this. And it's still not working. Let's see why. It is all nans. Am I using D3 name incorrectly? You know what? For the sake of, I'm just going to use Lodash for now. I'm wondering if it's because some things changed. So D3 just updated to V6, and I wonder if there's some sort of like change that happened in V6 for the like stats part of D3, the stats module for D3. So I'm just gonna chain this. And then I'm gonna get the mean, get the value, and then hopefully that will work. Perfect. Except for whatever the hell this is. What's going on? Why are there negative 200s? Negative 1,000. All right, something's up. Something is up with the mean. All right, let's see why you're doing that. Okay, and it seems like, okay, let's do this. If it's, I want to know if it's less than 0 or or greater than 1, then, stop in a debugger. Oh my god, thank you, T. Constantine. I can meme by. Thank you. Alright, let's do that. Silly me being silly today. But that still doesn't change the fact that there are weird things going on. Yeah, why is it let's see. Counties. Who is this? Who are you? Which county are you? Or which state are you? Oops. Oh, sure. Whatever. Okay. I have a. Wait. What happened here? What? La Paz County, easy. All right. So that means when I was calculating for the counties, there are some. Okay. All right. So it is not a problem with the mean by. It is something wrong up here. So let's go and do that. Alright, let's go. I'm just gonna bring this debugger up here and be like, yo, La Paz County in Arizona, what are you doing? Why are you not a ratio? Alright, let's see what's happening. A9, oh, A9E, A9A. Because, alright, because, what? Failed to respond. Is this La Paz County? Please tell me that there are, like, I don't know. I still don't know like what to do in situations where the data is like clearly there's something wrong with the data. I don't know. Do I just like chuck the county out? What do I do? Help. Oh. Anna asks if I changed my setup. Looks like you're in a different room. I did. Oh, yes. Anna, I reconfigured my workspace. So I'm still in the same corner as before. But now I've like changed. I've like turned my desk around. So whereas I used to look that way, I now look this way. And I'm happiest with the little bit of like wall decoration I put back there. I forgot to do this today, but there's a fairy light back there that makes me feel like one of those like lifestyle YouTubers when I turn them on. Yeah, and I also brought back, like Gillian said, with I also brought back my standing desk, which has been honestly really good for my back. Horcrux. Ooh, Horcrux. 2301. I like your screen name. Light theme. Yep, RIP County. Alright, so for now, I'm gonna chuck them out. Like, County, what are you doing? Why are you doing this, County? Alright, so, you know, this is where data cleaning is a very important thing because, yeah, because of things like this, where, you know, there's human error. Like, I shouldn't be giving this county such a hard time. Obviously, there's been, like, many counties, actually, that, where this is a problem because it's not the only place where I've had, like, anyways. I shouldn't be, like, I shouldn't be giving this particular county a hard time. It honestly is one of those, yeah. Let's see. So with this, okay. What I want to do is I want to only keep. Right. Right. All right, let's see if this works. So I basically took out any counties where the ratio, wasn't between 0 or 1 because of essentially human input error. So again, it's the reason why data cleaning is very important. But unfortunately, I just don't have the man hours for it, person hours. Okay, so let's try and see if this is good. Oh man. So actually, I need to have lunch soon. Okay, that's definitely not what I was expecting. So with all years in the correct range, yeah, that's definitely not what I was expecting, for it to just be one undefined state by county. Right. No, trololo. What? Oh man, this is so. Okay. No, so actually, I want to do the filter. This hurts my brain. This hurts my brain. Okay, no, this is not what I'm gonna do. Alright, I'm just gonna, like, instead of trying to do something fancy, I'm just gonna make it a null. Like, yeah, if there's human input error, it's gonna be a null. And because I need to lunch. Alright. Okay, so, okay, I got this. Alright, so, if year is less than 0, then I'm just gonna make object year equal to, I'm just gonna make it nan, you guys. Alright. Now, ooh, infinity. Yay, data cleaning. Nan for Washington. Wow. Alright, so that looks better. And I think, okay, so I need to stop for the day. Thank you, He's gonna say, you got this, Shirley. I believe, thank you. Yeah, I do agree, Fractokeen. Standing desks are the best. Yeah, so Gilliam, yes. The total was lower than the subcounts, and that's why. And T. Constantine says data visualization only means only graphics or algorithms like dimension reduction and stuff like that. Whoa, those were some fancy words. Gilliam says yes, I agree. Wouldn't it be nice to always be able to trust user input? Oh no, Hunter says better off without users at all. Oh no. Oh, Isna, thank you. And uh, yeah, to filter out the erroneous data, feel like those are places that be good to go back to and like really dig into. So anytime you see in data like something that looks off, that's like a great place to like dig into. Um, and yeah, it's a great data set, but it's definitely, anytime it's been aggregated, or anytime I mean, all data is like inputted by humans, so all data is going to have errors. And and so I really gotta go do lunch. Um, and I may or may not come back on after lunch. Um, I'll think about it some more. I'm leaning towards coming back. So here's also what I'm thinking about for October, for this month of October, while I'm doing this project, which is I'll keep to my 10:30 a.m. Wednesday and Friday regular schedule. And then I think I'll also just have like impromptu streams where like I want to share the part of the process and just like impromptu come on. And in which case, I'm probably not going to like tweet about it beforehand or anything. So turn on the notifications for Twitch if you are interested in this project and how it goes. And yeah, so that's it for this particular stream. I might come on later this afternoon or sometime tomorrow, though I have to work around like my meeting schedules. So it's just not going to be like other days are not guaranteed to be 10:30 a.m. PST, but Wednesdays and Fridays are guaranteed to be 10:30 a.m. PST. But yeah, if you want like impromptu random streams around this project, which I'm getting really excited about, please turn on the notifications for my channel. Hey, and thank you so much to everybody that joined. That was super fun. Really happy we got to have these conversations. Have a great day indeed to everyone. Yes, and anybody that's on the West Coast, hope you're enjoying lunch. And thank you so much, and see you sometime soon. Bye.